So I heard you're looking to land a job in media and entertainment, maybe at a company like Disney, Paramount, or HBO. You've grown up inspired by the magic of movies and TV shows. You want to work for a company that shapes the creative landscape. So maybe you have all the passion and the excitement, but you're not quite sure where to start. Well, don't worry, I've been exactly where you are, and now I'm here today to share everything that I've learned and experienced about how to land a job at your entertainment media company straight out of college, including the exact steps, timeline, advice, and tips that it took for me to get hired at Paramount. So if you're looking for a place to get started, simply just keep watching. Hi, I'm Bridget. I'm 23 years old and I currently work at Paramount in New York City. I graduated from college at NYU in 2023 with a major in MCC, which stands for Media, Culture, and Communications, and a minor in film and the business of producing. 3 years ago, at around exactly this time in December, I was fascinated by the media and entertainment landscape in New York. I know the whole thing can seem very intimidating, but don't worry because I have been exactly where you are, and I'm here today to show you everything that I did and take what I've learned over the years to help you do the same, whether at Paramount or a different dream company of yours. Let's go way back to the beginning. My first semester of college in 2019, I was majoring in economics, but I knew that I wanted to switch majors. So I was looking around for different things that I was interested in, and I wound up joining the executive board of the NYU Economics Society, which was this up-and-coming club. I actually spent my first semester of college as the marketing head of that club, and I was managing the newsletters and the social media and the emails, help host events while also trying to grow awareness around the club and the club roster. And my other prevalent experience of that time with marketing loosely was growing my YouTube channel. While these might not be examples of like textbook marketing, they did kind of pivot me into a more creative, media-oriented realm, and I discovered my current major by the end of my first year of college. I got my first digital marketing internship at this fashion and media company. And it was a digital marketing internship, but they mainly had me run also their socials and make content for them, make blog posts and help boost their SEO. The point is that you kind of just have to start somewhere when it comes to internships, and your first one does not have to be amazing. And the next major experience was actually something personal. At the end of 2020, my sister and I started our own business selling boxers for women, like boxer shorts for women, and that became a pretty big marketing project and experience in and of itself. But my second internship came during the summer of my sophomore year, and this was a paid marketing internship. So working with different kinds of paid marketing tactics as opposed to organic marketing tactics, which is previously mainly what I had worked with. My first internship I found through Handshake, and my second internship I found through Indeed. In this internship, I got to work a lot with paid ads, specifically through Google, Facebook, and Instagram. And in the fall of my junior year, I started to apply for internships by doing my research on all the places that I wanted to or could intern at. So I updated my resume and my cover letter and sent in probably to over 100 applications. Then came 1 to 2 months of interviews and hire reviews. Hire reviews are like these pre-recorded video interviews that some companies have you submit before you're able to interview with an actual hiring manager. It was a lot of waiting to see who got back to me and trying to get as far as I could with the interviews. And by the end of February of that year, I had 2 offers. One was for a growth marketing internship at Nickelodeon, and the other was the one that I ended up taking, which was a marketing role in the US Networks Distribution Department at Paramount. And then came my last year of college. So I repeated the same process that I did to find my internship, only to find that the rate in which companies got back to me about full-time roles was significantly and alarmingly less than for internships. So after many months, I ended up hearing back from Paramount about a full-time role. I did this Pymetrics exam, which is like an online skill assessment. I did a hire review, which again is the video interview, and then I did 2 rounds of interviews before getting the full-time job offer. So that's pretty much the story of how I got there, from being a freshman that just entered college with little idea of what I wanted to do to where I am now. I worked at my full-time position in the company for around a year and 2 months and actually transferred to a new position in a different department within the company. So that's the story. So what do you need to do exactly to get started with a career in media and entertainment? Well, there are 2 things that you can start cultivating today. And those 2 things are interest plus initiative. I realize that the best thing that you can do for yourself is to start early. So to show that you are interested in certain subject matter, whether it's like digital marketing. But I think ultimately you can put your best foot forward by showing that you had interest in something and all the ways that you went about trying to pursue that interest. And by maintaining these themes, it shows that you have the curiosity and the drive to explore opportunities in your area of interest. In an industry like this, in my experience, that's really what these companies are looking for in people that are so early in their careers. The formula that worked for me was to really try to explore my potential avenues of interest my freshman year, and then take what I learned about myself and the different fields, potential fields or majors that I researched, to apply that to try your first internship. And that first work experience will hopefully help you land your second, more official or maybe more in-depth internship. Your 3rd year of college is where, unfortunately, you want to start thinking about where you want to work after college, because if you can become an intern at a company and leave a good impression, you're going to be among one of the first people that the company considers to hire for full-time. So really the best thing that you can do if you want to get hired immediately out of college at a certain company is by interning there first before you apply to a full-time role. Either interning at that specific company or a very similar company in the industry. I know that between Paramount and NBCU, these 2 companies are constantly looking for talent in undergrad and also looking to bring them back full-time. But of course, I know a lot goes into getting an internship. And I do want to emphasize that that's not the only way that you can show your interest or your effort. I learned pretty early on that my extracurriculars played just as big of a role, if not more, than my work experience did. And the reason why is because there will be a lot of people that get work experience at certain companies, but the extracurriculars that are unique to you and aren't exactly on just anybody else's resume are the ones that are really going to make you stand out. So as much as it can help to get solid work experience on your resume, just know that you don't have to rely on being hired by someone else in order to demonstrate your skills and your interests. I would have started my YouTube channel and my business venture. I obviously would have done those anyway, and I was not doing these things thinking that they would help me get a job one day. But as I started interviewing at all for internships, I realized that that became a huge talking point in the interviews and people wanted to know more about that. So I just want to reiterate that interning and working for other companies is not the only way that you can show your interest. A lot of different things that you can do for yourself or even through school that all demonstrate that 1, you have interest in this thing, and 2, you actually take the initiative to learn more about it on your own. These 2 things are something that you can start today. So ask yourself, what are you interested in? Or if you really have no idea, how can you at least get closer to that general direction? And also, once you do start getting a sense of that, what is 1 or 2 ways that you can start getting involved in learning more about those areas and actively engaging with those areas of interest today? You know, again, whether through joining a club or creating your own venture, or maybe taking certain classes, whether online or at your university. Okay, so far we talked about the 2 traits and themes that you want to show, which is showing your interest and pairing that with the initiative to explore opportunities. 2, remembering the importance of your extracurriculars because they speak to what makes you unique. And the 3rd really important thing is obviously and unfortunately interviews. specifically how you approach the interview. What I've learned throughout my personal experiences so far is that there are a lot of unspoken rules and best practices for interviews that honestly I would never have known about if it wasn't for my friends in business school that have these clubs that specialize in recruiting for jobs and told me about all these ways to approach an interview that I personally did not know about before. For example, in every interview that you're going to have, the one question that you can pretty much always expect is the tell me about yourself / walk me through your resume, or however they want to word it. The way that you deliver that question is that it should always be a story that uses your experiences to highlight certain themes and ultimately why they should hire you and why they should want to work every day with you. So once I learned that, the majority of my time went to crafting my answer to that question and mastering that and researching a lot about the company and the team and the role and figuring out how best to answer that question for each individual role that you are interviewing for. But honestly, this whole thing could be its own video because there are so many nuances and strategies to mastering the art of interviewing. But for now, I'm gonna put a couple other concepts to look into on the screen that will definitely help you prepare for how to be a better interviewer. There's a link in the video description to a more thorough guide that walks you through step by step how to approach every single question that could come up in an interview and all the ways to put your best foot forward, resume tips to interview tips and beyond. So let's take a moment to address the topic of networking. I think my attempts at networking were helpful for me to learn more about what I could be interested in. There might be people out there with other insights that you don't have that can really help you and guide you in the right direction. But at the end of the day, remember that it's just a coffee chat or it's just one person's opinion. In summary, let's go over some of the most important tips covered in this video, which is to start early and keep career, but more importantly, your interests, because you want to have a sustainable career. Keep your interests always in the back of your mind and try to actually get your hands dirty and experience working on different things that you're interested in order to weed out the things that you don't like and get more involved in the things that you do like. Media is a very broad term, and even under marketing or advertising, there's so many different ways that you can go, and depending on what job that is, your day can look very different, and the things that you do every day and the skills that you work with can be very different. So I would definitely say do your research. I think it's super helpful to start learning about what different kinds of roles are out there, and most importantly, what the day-to-day actually looks like, because that is what's gonna end up being your life when you do start a full-time job. Again, everyone has their own circumstances and their own paths that they're working with. I really hope that something stuck with you and that you found some things that may help you along your way. If you have any questions or want to hear more videos made about this topic, feel free to either reach out or leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and you got this.